It is Daniacs. I am going to be here reacting to a discussion between Frank Turek and Alex O'Connor. I'm just out here in my woods. This right here is a dugout that I'm working on. I'm stacking all these rocks up right here so I can throw all this dirt right up there and start building this rock wall back. That rock wall is going to go all the way down and wrap around this thing. But that's neither here nor there. We are here about theology. I just like to drop a little vlog in it. I do what I want up in this bitch. So, and they are going to be talking about one of my favorite discussions, which is morality. Absolute or subjective, you tell me. So let's roll with it.
Quote you accurately on this, because in the video you said this. You said moral truths are so deeply ingrained in us that they feel like they are objective.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So my question is, why would you doubt they're objective if they're so deeply ingrained in us?
Well, because there is no such thing as objective morality. I even go as far as to say there is no such thing as objective truth. The very constructs of fucking cocksucker. Here we go. No, video. The very construct of truth and morality is only empowered by a subjective consciousness. Truth and morality are subjective to the consciousness empowering and observing it. People like to colloquially say this, that, or the other is objective when there is a seeming consensus on the thing. But let's put it this way. If it was inherently, actually, truly objective, there would never be anyone that does anything different than these proposed moral truths that you are standing on. Not only that, but I can prove to you, Frank Turek, and all Christians, PJ, I'm working, okay, that you are subjective moralists. Oh yeah, I can prove it very quick. Once I bring up that Yahweh/Yahweh Jesus breaks every single commandment that he imposes on others. Now we're going to put aside real quick that even if everything was actually based off of the perception of Yahweh and Jesus, then that would still be subjective to the perception of Yahweh and Jesus. We're just going to put that aside.
This is where I think Sam Harris is right, in the sense that if you have certain assumptions, so let's say that we could assume that was a good thing. We'll discuss why. Say we assume that, we could then say that it is objectively true that we should act in certain ways, for instance, trying not to murder people, and that would then become an objective morality. Right. So, because evolution has instilled within us, through genetics, a drive to stay alive, then we can derive objective moral truths about how we should act in order that complies with this inner nature, which I think has come about through evolution. So even if you don't subscribe to the idea that certain moral actions, such as not killing or not stealing, have come about through evolution, the instinctual nature within us to stay alive causes us to think of those as objective truths. But it's a technicality. So for all intents and purposes, you could say they're objective truths. If you grab 100 people off the street and ask them is wrong, 100 of them will say.
Like I said, you can colloquially call it objective, but that doesn't make it actually objective. You can have 1 billion people that agree about this one moral truth. And all it takes is one little person to do something else and disagree to prove it, therefore, subjective and non-objective. That's all it would take. You could have 1 trillion people that agree, but all it takes is one that disagrees and does something else, and there goes your whole objective claim. So the very fact that there's different laws in each country regarding these moral issues should prove that it's all subjective. I mean, it's obvious to me, and I am very happy to talk about this. This is one of my favorite discussions right here, even though it drives me crazy. Maybe that's why it's one of my favorite things, because it drives me crazy constantly hearing all these followers of Abraham. To make it clear, I'm a non-Abrahamic true monotheist. I believe in the construct of the one true creator. I do not come to that belief through the broken theology of Abraham or through the Abrahamic scriptures.
Yes, but that doesn't mean it's objective. I mean, for instance, I put it to you, would you say that...
Yeah, I would, but that's a subjective...
Right,
sure.
sure.
Some people may not like chocolate.
It's subjective.
Yeah.
So
that's a flavor.
So tar can be just as tasty as chocolate.
And the one that the followers of Abraham like to fall on is, oh, you believe in subjective morality, do you? Okay, well, do you think rape is good? Do you? Can you think of any... I've literally heard Christians say this. Can you think of any situation in which grapes is good? It's like, yeah, nigga. Look right in your Bible right there. You'll see all kinds of situation where Yahweh approved of grapes. Not only approved, but commanded his people to go out and grape. So okay, it's cool. Insert your apologetics here. Insert your apologetics here. I like to dry my tears with Abrahamic apologetics. PJ got my back, bro. PJ got my back.
And that's no problem, right? That's no problem whatsoever. So when you say something along the lines of, so morality is subjective. So what Hitler did being wrong was just an opinion. Well, yes, but in the same sense that chocolate tasting as good as tar is an opinion.
I think when
it doesn't make a difference.
Well, no, I think it does, because it's much more obvious that, say...
For all the people that say that what Hitler did was bad, there's a lot of people that say what Hitler did was bad. Okay, that's fine. But a lot of those same people will say, will defend that that the genocides enacted by Yahweh and his followers, but those were good though. Those were good. But what Hitler did, that was bad. But now all the genocides in the Bible, that was good though. Look up William Lane Craig's defense of the Bible. It's hilarious.
Ladies, look at me. Now look at your man. Now look back at me. Now look at...
I don't want to look at you.
Much more obvious that, say...
Come on.
Children is wrong, then atheism's true.
Right.
So why would you say that atheism's true in order to avoid the obvious conclusion that children is...
See, all truth is subjective as well. All truth, all morality, anything that has to do with the perception of a subjective consciousness is subjective. And I will have a lot more people agree with me on these subjective morality, but I get very few people agreeing with me on the subjective truth. They will say things like, Dane, isn't it true that such and such and such and such? Subjectively true. I've had people say that, isn't it objectively true that if you drink Drano, it will kill you? That is subjectively true. Subjective to your consciousness. And the only way to confirm a truth is to ask another consciousness, in which case it is subjective to their consciousness. All truth and all morality is subjective to the consciousness empowering it.
Wrong. You already know children is wrong. Now, if you want to use an evolutionary argument, the problem is that...
But do you know that? Frank Turk? Because I'm sure you got some juicy apologetics as to why the genocides and the taking of the land and kill everything except for the young women. Well, why would they kill everything except for the young girls? What? that is implicit, grapes.
Cuts everything you think, because if everything we think is the product of the laws of physics or biology, whatever it is, then why should we believe anything we think? Forget about morality for a second. Why should we even believe that Christianity is true? I'm sorry, I'm suffering from jet lag here. if our thoughts are the result of some random evolutionary process, why should we believe anything we think is true?
Well, the first thing is that
everything is subjectively true. Even when it comes to the Heisenberg uncertainty principle, You can't perfectly know the position and the velocity of a particle, not because of inability of the measuring equipment, not because of that, but because you can't exactly pinpoint the exact position and the exact momentum of a particle. The Heisenberg uncertainty principle, there is uncertainty baked into the very fabric of creation, of existence. And while we're on the creation topic, I don't believe in the traditional Abrahamic creation. You know, I have a different view. I don't think that. I think it was infinite. That there was no single creation. It's an infinite loop of destruction and creation, reincarnation, even transformation, even.
Evolution isn't a random process. But that aside, it's
Well, let me put it this way: it's either directed by an outside intelligence or it's not.
sure. Okay, I'll give
If
you
it's not directed by an outside intelligence,
See. Notice how he said outside intelligence. What if emergent intelligence is an integral property of existence? Okay, now to make, I do believe in the one true creator, a perception of the one true creator. I call it the fractal singularity omni matrix. In the nothing, the one within the all.
it's random.
Yes. So
So, if it's directed by intelligence, then perhaps God exists. If it's not
Sure.
directed by intelligence, why should we believe anything we think?
because I mean, this is the old.
See, you can have intelligence without God. You fuck ass honkies. You don't need God to explain intelligence. You fuck ass honkies.
Argument from against naturalism that people like
C.S. Lewis.
C.S. Lewis.
Whose side are you even on anyway, bro? I thought you were theist. Yeah, I'm theist, motherfucker. I believe in imaginary friends, and you can't stop me, motherfucker. Come get some.
Indeed, modern practitioners like Plantinga have put forward, which, as I understand it, is effectively saying if evolution, if effectively it's meant for the propagation of our DNA, it's not aimed at us receiving true beliefs. It's not aimed at us actually. It's not aimed at reasoning.
No.
And ultimately, you could even go as far as to say that the actual
Alex don't mind getting two-timed by a theist. He really doesn't. He can take on a whole fucking group full of theists. Y'all bring it. Bring it. See, Alex was, for a very long time, my favorite intellectual atheist. Effective. Intellectually effective atheist. For a long time, and just recently in the last, I don't know, half a year or so, he's been beat out by Big D. Durante, what it is. Man, serious. Alex is cute and all. He is very eloquent,